All right, morning everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Daily High. I will be your only host, Tone Vase. Matt is busy in Southeast Asia with events and fights and all the rest. All right, we're gonna go straight to the charts. Let's get some audio confirmation. Um, someone is notifying me there are AI videos of me. There's nothing I can do about that, nor do I want to waste my time on that. I mean, people will just have to figure out. I mean, if someone is falling for me promoting a shitcoin, there's nothing I can do to help that person mentally. I mean, it's really that bad. Um, all right, let's go to the charts. Okay, so the monthly chart still looks strong. I would like to see this upper wick be removed. I don't want to see a negative tone-based volume, though I don't have any indicators on this. But I do want to see the monthly close above 120. I mean, that would make me bullish going into September if we do close the month above 120. The monthly is not that interesting right now. The weekly is more interesting. The weekly is on a reversal candle, but you see the pure consolidation on a weekly candle. I was hoping to see a blow off weekly MRI top like the blow off daily MRI top that we had. Now, uh, if this week's candle somehow ends up being very bullish, if this week's candle somehow manages to close back at the top of the candle in the $123,000 range, and then the next candle takes us into the $130,000 range, that would be a weekly blow off top from which I would expect a more significant correction, potentially going all the way down to the next moving average, maybe even lower than that, maybe even down into the um, below 110. But in consolidation, it makes me actually more bullish for the immediate future, and we're not going to get the big correction. So this is where I mean it's I have both. I'm okay with either scenario. I'm prepared for either scenario. I will be taking significant profit if we do go into $130,000 range by the end of August. If sometime in August we are pushing into the 130, like anything above 128 and a half, anything above 129, that makes me really want to significantly exit because I would be expecting a serious correction. Small corrections right now, especially if we do get the MRI top, I still want to see the MRI top come in next week. I don't want to see us break the MRI count at this point. We're already on an 8. I don't want this yellow arrow to remain. I want this yellow arrow to turn into a red arrow. But if we get an MRI top in consolidation, then I would expect a little more consolidation, create a green star candle similar to this last green star candle, or maybe a better example would be, let's see, is there a better example? Something like this. Like here's your MRI top in consolidation. This is, I had to go all the way back to 2020. But here's your MRI top. We had a nice run up. We made it to the prior swing high. In our case, it happens to be the all-time high. We consolidated. We then meandered for a while, never made a red star candle. And then we got a nice green star candle. Yes, there was a bad week in between, but eventually it just, took off uh, to the upside significantly. So that's the kind of, had to sneeze, and again. When I eventually move to Roatan, I don't expect to be sneezing at all. It's really allergies up in the Northeast. So I'm good either way, but I am not expecting this to turn into a significant correction. I could be wrong, but I am not anticipating that. So I'm either looking for a few more weeks of consolidation than up, or a massive run up in August, then a more significant correction coming down. So these are my kind of two primary outlooks going forward. The daily chart. The daily chart had a beautiful MRI blow off top. Someone asked me on my political stream yesterday if I got out on Wednesday, and the answer is no, I didn't. I was admiring this move too much, and then the next thing I knew, the market was closed. And then by the time the market opened the following day, it was basically too late. We were already sitting here like below 119. And I do think that this support here is very, very strong. Uh, Even if we fall back further down to the 50-period moving average, I now think the 50-period moving average is very, very strong, and it's rising very quickly every single day. Let me see if I go back 50 candles, what that looks like. Right, so we're still dropping a lot of these, just look at it. We're still dropping a lot of these candles here and replacing them with these candles here. So yeah, the 50 period is rising very, very, very quickly. So I think there is very strong support right around here. And this entire move was just based on a statement from the government. And Bitcoin shouldn't be going up because the government may or may not buy it in the future. Look, I don't trust any government, but I especially don't trust the US government. So I mean, look, Trump was the best possible candidate for Bitcoin. As much as I shit talk on Trump and as much as I hate his geopolitical moves, it is a lot better for Bitcoin that Trump is president versus any other option. And I literally mean any other option. I mean, the guy's creating scam shitcoins, for fuck's sake, okay? But having said that, guys, you're still a fucking criminal if you're using Bitcoin, according in the eyes of any government. Like, don't get this twisted. I've been saying this for over a decade now that you don't know if if you're buying your cup of coffee with Sats at Starbucks in the future is or will not get you arrested, right? In the eyes of the U.S. government, Bitcoin is still completely criminal and only used by criminals. Let's not get this twisted at all. So the fact that the U.S. government decided not to buy Bitcoin doesn't really change anything. Yeah, it crashed, but Bitcoin is going to keep going up because it is an asset that cannot be controlled by the U.S. government. And as long as that's the case, any Bitcoiner will always be looked at with skepticism. I think this was a massive overreaction. And it's about to blow over, and then, the world will be all right again. I mean, the only way Bitcoin is not going to be considered criminal is if they actually make it something like legal tender, right? What El Salvador did at one point. Or if they remove the tax burden on any sub $600 transactions or sub $200 transactions, right? That's the only way. And they haven't done that yet. So just be careful. Okay, so I wasn't really gonna do a video today if we would have been above 119. If this morning scandal was an upswing into the mid 119s, I would not have done the video. But I really did not like what happened at 9 a.m. You guys know what I think about double bottoms. Double bottoms are meant to be broken. And therefore, based on what I see right here, right now, I am expecting lower lows. Will the MRI support line that is just a tad bit lower at 117,500, will it hold Bitcoin on the hourly chart? The answer is probably not. It is very likely that we have to rely on this zone once again. I've had this zone on here for what feels like 3 months now. I think we have to make a new lower low. Now, the good news is, if Matt was on, he would be screaming that this would be awesome. All we got to do is get a green diamond inside the green wave, which, ooh, look at that. I really like where the 4-hour MRI support line is. So this 116.5 is a pretty good area for support, and it's very possible if we fall into this zone, we're gonna get that green diamond on the 4-hour chart. Here, the last 2 times we had these green diamonds back here, and that resulted in some very, very nice gains into new all-time highs. So that can happen again. We bounce off of that sometime this weekend. Last weekend was very bullish. This weekend might be very bearish. And from there, we can definitely go up. So that would be nice. You can see the RSI is about to break to new lows. The MACD is still going down. And the CMF is not great either. So lots of things here pointing to more lows. But anything in the mid 116s would be nice. It would also be almost a $10,000 drop, which is a really big correction, giving us enough room to go to the upside. All right, that is pretty much it on Bitcoin. We are, as I've said, we're depressed on the cycle here. I still think we have the 4-year cycle. I don't know why anyone is saying the 4-year cycle is done. The 4-year cycle, you won't know that it's done for another 2 years. A 4-year cycle is a bull run, a top, a bear market, a bottom, and resurrection of the bull market. We're still in the bull market. Like this thing can end in the middle of next year and still have a 4-year cycle. Like this is, I don't understand why people are ignoring that. We have been keeping an eye on Ethereum a little bit. Ethereum is still rising, but it's very, very limited. It's about to run into serious resistance. Gold is still consolidating at the top. I think gold is going to do well in the upcoming years. My target on gold is about 5,000, and my target on silver is about $50. Do I have the chart of silver? I do. So my target for silver is $50. My target for gold is 5,000. So the ratio of gold to silver is going to be 100. Again, that would be, and after silver reaches 50, it will probably fall down to 30. And gold will likely never go below 4,000. Oil is just not interesting. S&P 500 is pulling back today. But it's at all-time highs. This probably explains. MRI had an error. Let's refresh. Ooh, look at that. The daily S&P is going to hit an MRI top coming in tomorrow. Well, not tomorrow, Monday. So yeah, so the S&P might be topping. Look at the last time we had an S&P MRI top. Bitcoin just had its MRI top. But just like Bitcoin, what am I expecting with this current S&P MRI top. You look at the last MRI top, we had a 1 to 4 candle correction, followed by more upside. The prior one had a consolidation, followed by more upside. I'm looking for a 1 to 4 candle correction again, followed by more upside. The futures are a day behind, but that's okay. And the beautiful trade on BTI is still looking good. I mean, there's the second consecutive MRI top. There was a daily MRI top. From a daily perspective, we missed it by one candle. The top was made on the following Monday. But with a weekly MRI top, you got to be a little more patient. The top comes in on Monday, and down we go. I think this is going to keep pulling back for a bit. Sand Snake, what trade did you enter today? LV something. Or Sand Snake? Looking at your comments here. LVS, Las Vegas Sands? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Gambling is in a bit of trouble because of the new laws that are coming out. Gambling in Vegas, anyway. We have a weekly MRI top. And I believe a daily MRI top. Daily warning candle. We have a new all-time high, not all-time high, but new swing high today with a doji-ish candle. Yeah, it doesn't look bad considering the S&P will reach its MRI top next on Monday. The weekly MRI top this week, shorting it this morning is not a bad move. I don't have a problem with this trade. Now, you do have to be careful. You have very clear resistance here. That's a little bit of a ballsy stop loss, but let's see how it opens Monday. Maybe remind me on Monday to take a look at this. I am going to be curious. We still have a bunch of, we still have extension C5 going on here. Interesting. That must be happening from a long time ago. Jesus. There's extension A. There's extension B. This should have been canceled, no? There's an MRI buy. Where is that extension C coming from? I gotta look into that. We had an extension C here. Oh, I'm sorry. That's a C5. That's literally coming from this candle. I had a brain fog this morning, apparently. We have, yeah, it's a C5. It's literally coming from this one. I was about to say, I'm like, it can't be coming from any of the old ones. It's literally coming from this count of how C's work. The monthly is kind of bullish with the green star. You do have to be careful, but you also see the last couple didn't work out at all. So what a beautiful MRI top right here back in April of 23, and an even better MRI top back here on July of 2018, and an even better MRI top up here in April 2014. Wow. You know how much money you could have made by shorting the shit out of Sands? Look at this one. Oh my God. Yeah, that's right. The last 3 monthly MRI tops just wrecked the stock for years. Years. Here's 1, 2, 3, and the prior one wrecked it for a month. Not years, but a month. But these wrecked it for years. Jesus. That's crazy. That's crazy. All right, let's go to the king of shitcoins, Ethereum. Yeah, its days are numbered. It looks like it wants to do one more MRI top on the daily, and that's probably going to be all she wrote. That would be in line with the weekly MRI top. I may actually short Ethereum. Shit. I remind me to keep an eye on this. At the end of going into September, short Ethereum versus Bitcoin may be the trade of the year. It's not often I say that, but that would be my trade of the year. Shorting Ethereum against Bitcoin on the weekly MRI top, especially if it's in line with the daily. And the monthly is, yeah, I don't really care about the monthly. Okay. That's it, guys. Good show. Thank you all for watching. Would I get out 100% if Bitcoin reaches 130? In my trading retirement account, I may get out like 50, 60 unless I actually see it reverse. If I see the top and I see it starting to crash, then I may get out as much as 80. I don't know what Ethereum 10K this year means because I don't look at Ethereum in dollars. It's irrelevant to me. Um, Ethereum could be 20,000, but Bitcoin could be a million, right? You never look at Ethereum in dollars. Makes no sense at all. Looking at Ethereum in dollars is like looking at Bitcoin in Venezuelan bolivars, right? Or in Indian rupees. Okay. Can anyone on this stream right now tell me the price of Bitcoin in Indian rupees? You can't because it's irrelevant. The price of Ethereum in dollars is equally as irrelevant as the price of Bitcoin in Indian rupees, the price of Bitcoin in yuan. Even back when China had more trading volume than America, I was still saying that pricing Bitcoin in yuan is stupid. Okay, pricing Bitcoin in the Russian ruble. It makes no sense. It doesn't matter what the dollar price of Ethereum is. You only look at Ethereum in price of Bitcoin. And in price of Bitcoin, Ethereum has a ceiling. That ceiling is 0.05 Bitcoin. That is it. I uh, I cannot see how on this earth Ethereum can possibly go above 0.05 Bitcoin. It is going to reverse. That is its ultimate ceiling, and I plan to short it, probably even before it gets there. All right, guys. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all on the next one. Hey, Zazo. Good seeing you in here. Bye, guys. Oh, wait. One last thing I wanted to look at. Oh, I think I already closed it. Never mind. No, I don't think there was any major economic activity. Bye, guys.